The next interpersonal communication practice that we're going to talk about is related to the practice of mirroring, and it's often referred to as emotional contagion. In an interpersonal relationship, there's a high degree of likelihood that two partners will emotionally converge or mirror one another's emotional state or physiological state. In other words, if one partner is particularly happy, the other partner will converge on that state of happiness. Now, emotional contagion has to do with unconscious interpersonal communication. So another reason that the transmission model of communication is wrong or unhelpful is it doesn't account for all the ways in which we communicate with one another without words or without sending explicit signals or sending explicit forms of information. And emotional contagion is a great example of that. We unconsciously communicate with our partner by converging emotionally on the same sort of emotional space. So there's two particular practices that we need to look out for when engaged in interpersonal communication on the unconscious level. First, we need to know when unconsciously we're converging on positive emotional states, and second, we need to know when we're unconsciously converging on negative emotional states. So the feeling of falling in love at first between two partners is often the result of some positive emotional state being contagious. That is, we unconsciously share a sense of excitement. Now, a good interpersonal communication involves producing lots of cases in which there's positive emotional states that are shared or that are contagious with one another. If you ever wonder why marriage counselors tell their partners to go and do something exciting together, it's because they're hoping to tap into the value of emotional contagion. If you go and do something exciting with your partner, that feeling of excitement will kind of bind the two of you together. So a good interpersonal communicator knows when emotional contagion is working positively by engaging some sort of positive emotional state and using that to bind two people closer to one another. Unfortunately, emotional contagion can also have a destructive effect. So when there's a negative emotional state, let's say one partner is angry at the other, one needs to be aware of the likelihood of you converging on that feeling of anger. And when one partner's anger will be contagious for the other partner, and the other partner will then also become angry, and this of course creates conflict and discord. So a good interpersonal communicator knows when not to or how to stop emotional contagion in an unconscious way when it's oriented toward negative emotional states. So if your partner is angry, you know not to get angry just because of the unconscious emotional contagion that's happening. In mirroring, in the practice of mirroring, this works by one partner being non-judgmental and trying to be completely objective and not allow themselves to be caught up in the emotional state of their other partner. So a good interpersonal communication involves unconscious, kind of awareness of our unconscious likelihood that we'll share the emotions of our partner, and how to use that to positive effects and how to avoid when that causes negative.